was just talking about is how Mike T lets everybody be themselves and how much that helps the locker room, helps guys lead, helps guys adjust. What have you seen from that in terms of just Mike T letting guys be themselves in your perspective from other locker rooms and other coaches?
Yeah, I think it's just a little less stress. This business is stressful enough, but when you have to be a different version of yourself, sometimes can just create more stress. So I think just letting guys kind of just truly be themselves and be who they are on the field can be a benefit. And I think it's been a good thing as far as just guys showing up and having confidence in what they do.
You're facing a team with two really good edge rushers for sure this week, but also last week you had a fair amount of success pushing the ball beyond the sticks on third downs. How do you walk that balance this week where you maybe want to explore doing that a little bit more after your success against the Ravens versus what you're facing defensively?
Yeah, I think that's probably a better question for the offensive coordinator. For me, it's like I run the route that's called. So, I think that's more of a strategic thing. But, yeah, for us as receivers, we kind of just whatever route is called, we run that depth that we're told to run and try to make a play and try to get open as quick as possible, right? But within, the timing of what the concept calls for.
How would you describe the range of emotions of these last few weeks from way up to way down to way up again and now in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has been that, but that's also the NFL. I think the longer you play in this league, you just understand it's a week-to-week league. Every week is so different. Every series is so different, right? There's so many ups and downs through a game, through a season, through a week. So you just kind of get numb to that, and you just focus on the next play and the next week and the next day and go from there.
So it doesn't feel like a particularly crazy end of the season for you at this point?
No. Again, 13 years I've seen a lot. So nothing is surprising in this league. And again, you just show up the next day and give the most effort you can and figure it out from there.
Is a Monday night playoff game special for you?
Yeah, I think all night games, obviously all playoff games in general are special, right? But yeah, night games are something that's, when you're a little kid, you're thinking about those primetime games, Monday night, playoff games. So obviously a little special and always a great atmosphere, especially at home. Been able to experience a couple night games there now, and it's a pretty special place, especially at night.
You've seen Aaron a number of times over the years. What has it been like the last couple of weeks to get to know him as your quarterback and your guy?
Yeah, I mean, you have a certain perception of someone from afar, right? Never was in the huddle with them, but played against him a lot, was able to get to know him a little off the field, playing golf together a bunch and things like that in the off seasons. But when you're in the huddle, you really start to understand why someone's great, what they do week in, week out, the things that people don't see on during the week. They think you just show up on Sundays and can have success, right? But it's the things he does through the week that really impress me and really show me why he's been so good for so long. His attention to detail, his communication, just his process is elite, and that's why he is who he is.
What did you notice about him specifically in those last 2 minutes on Sunday night? Anything that stick out?
Yeah, probably the same thing that I've really noticed since the day when I got here is just how calm he is in the huddle. He kind of just brings this demeanor. When he starts calling that play, it's really slow and thought out, and it just kind of gives everybody just some calmness. A lot of times us as athletes, we kind of get in the moment, we get anxious, we get stressed, and we want to call a play a little faster or get out of the huddle a little faster, but he kind of just brings that calmness and that demeanor that has been really cool to be around.
You were teammates with Danielle Hunter for a while. What has always stood out to you about his game?
He's a strong human being. Unfortunately, I've had to chip block him and things like that in the past. And he's just a strong, physical, quick, fast athlete. And he was a great teammate. So I've always been rooting for him since he left and I left Minnesota. But yeah, just a phenomenal player that's had a lot of success and really been consistently good for a long time.
Adam, what makes their corner trio, Stingley, Petrie, and Lassiter so good and so tough to beat that other teams are struggling against them?
Yeah, I just think that there's not a lot of weakness between the three of them. I think they play really well together, and not only are they physically gifted, but you can tell that they're smart football players and they love ball, and you can see that on tape. Just the way that they play leverages, the way that they communicate. There's not a lot of drop coverages, things like that, and they play with a lot of confidence. So Obviously, it's the playoffs. You're going to have tough matchups, and you got to figure out a way to be at your best.
They've been, you've been really good even before you got here, throwing the ball to flats to the running backs and having them catch the ball and make plays from there. How's Houston's defense as far as pursuit goes to that area?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think.
Like I know their edge rushers get a lot of attention
Yeah.
for getting up the field and passing, but laterally, how are they?
Yeah, well, I think that's one thing that sticks out on tape with them is they fly around the field, and Coach showed a couple of clips today of just even guys coming out of the stack, coming out of the D line after a completed catch and just smacking the receiver when he cuts back or things like that. So they do a great job of flying to the ball, and I think it's probably why they're the number one defense. They're a really good defense, and you don't become a good defense just by having good players. You have it by having players that are really good and have high effort. So you see that around tape, and they fly around and a lot of guys to the ball. So it's something you got to be aware of as a guy with a ball in your hand. Is you got to be able to can't maybe cut the ball back as much, and you better have the ball wrapped up when you get in traffic.
I feel like this offense is kind of clicking at the right time.
Absolutely. The details are being locked in on, and there's obviously stuff we can still work on. But we're clicking right now, and we just got to keep it going.
You guys were obviously off yesterday, but just what's the mood been like since that big win on Sunday?
Pretty positive, but locked in at the end of the day. Like Sunday was cool and all, but another week, it's win or go home at this point. So.
What are the biggest tools that you have to watch out for from either Hunter, or Anderson? Both of them just present major threats.
It's more so their change-ups. Like, we all know they're kind of power guys, but they both have really good spin moves. They both have really good motors, good hand usage. So the fastballs are obviously dynamic and obviously powerful, but the change-ups are really good for them.
Have you any chance to think about where a month ago, you had never played an NFL game or practice ball, and here you are starting to play off game left tackle? You've been able to process what's happened to you?
Not really. We'll save that for the offseason.
Dylan, what can you do to prepare for those change-ups? What's the key against those spin moves?
We've been working all year. We have a pretty dynamic rush group ourselves, so just going up against those guys like Herbig, TJ, Alex, ever since Latrobe, we've got a good feel because they all have good change-ups too. So just got to be grounded and just got to stay out of third and long and just expect it.
What can you learn? Go from side to side, and who do you expect to see the most of?
They switch enough to say they switch, mainly Daniil, but I think they do a good job of switching sides, and their backup's really good too. So
I know some of these games predate you, but you guys have actually played these 4 games against the teams that have more sacks than you guys and the Texans. As a collective, why do you think you performed as well as you did? I think you won 3 of 4 of them. Nobody really got loose in the pass rush department.
Starts with 8. He gets the ball out. He understands the assignment, and he gets rid of the ball and doesn't really demand us to hold up, even though that's obviously what we want to do. But he just gets the ball out so fast, and he just processes defenses so fast.
Mike said you guys don't really care about that playoff drought. It's been since 2016 since there's a win. Do you care? Do you feel a sense of urgency to try and get a win for this team, the city, for Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, obviously we want to win. 2016, I was in high school. Yeah, obviously we want to win, but we're just got to go out and execute our job and take it one play at a time.
Mike said that they don't split the atoms, meaning that they don't get too crazy and creative. But what communication things do you guys have to watch out for that they do well that'll incorporate things?
Just little nuances from their D-line, foot stance switches and stuff like that, alignment and stuff like that.
Dylan, what were the most important components of this 4-year grind you've been on to get to this point?
That's a good question. I don't know. Can't really give you an answer on that. I don't know. It's all been important.
Were you ready to quit at any time?
No, never.
How far down were you?
What do you mean?
Were you at all down when you had to go back on a practice squad or something like that?
Not really. There's people who would kill to be in the locker room, practice squad, or otherwise. So, blessed at the end of the day.
You said that a lot of the pass protection has been because Aaron gets the ball out quick. How's your chemistry kind of grown with him since you joined the starting lineup?
Pretty well. He's played behind a lot of different O-line in his day, so he's probably used to it at this point. He's just such a leader and just such a commander, and he's always cool. He's always calm. You never see him freaking out, so it's easy to play when your leader is relaxed at all times.
What was he like? What was he like in that last drive? Ended with the touchdown to Calvin. You guys don't have any timeouts, have to drive the field. Just what was he saying? What was his demeanor like?
Cool, calm. You know, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew exactly how to, decipher the defense, and just was ready to kill.
They don't sub a lot, you guys.
What do you mean?
The sub packages. They play with the same 12 guys, basically.
Sort of. They got pretty deep defense,
How important is the ball control element of that there?
Crucial. Crucial running the ball, crucial controlling time possession.